Stop what you are doing. For just a moment, silence the noise around you. The notifications, the lists, the worries. I need you to listen, not with your ears, but with that part of you that feels the weight of your own life. The clock is ticking. There are only 4 minutes left. This is not a threat. It is a mercy. A message sent back from a place of eternal regret. A warning about a decision you keep delaying, a door you refuse to open. I am a voice from the other side of that decision. I am what happens when later becomes never. I am a soul trapped not by chains, but by the memory of a single simple choice I failed to make. I am here to tell you my story, so that it does not become yours. This message is for you, and you alone, because you are standing at the same crossroads I once stood at, thinking you have all the time in the world. You do not. The promise of this message is simple, and it will be delivered now. This is about that one thing. That quiet, persistent thought that comes to you in the dead of night or in the stillness of the morning. That conversation you need to have. That apology you need to make. That forgiveness you need to grant. That change you know in your heart is necessary for your soul's peace. You know exactly what it is. You are thinking of it right now, and you keep putting it off. I am here to tell you that this seemingly small act of postponement is the heaviest stone you will ever carry. It feels light now, easily tucked away for another day. But each sunrise you allow to pass without acting adds to its weight, invisibly, silently, until it becomes the anchor that holds you down, preventing you from moving forward not just in life, but beyond it. I know, because my anchor is forged from the same indifference. I ignored the signs. They were everywhere, like feathers falling from the sky. A word from a friend that struck a little too close to home. A scene in a movie that made my heart ache with a strange recognition. A quiet feeling of unease that I would quickly bury under work, entertainment, or the simple, mundane tasks of a busy life. I treated these moments as interruptions, not invitations. I thought I had time. It is the most common and the most lethal lie we tell ourselves. Tomorrow, I would say. When things calm down. When I feel stronger. When the moment is right. But the perfect moment never arrives, because it does not exist. There is only now, this breath, this heartbeat. I lived my life on credit, always borrowing from a future I assumed was guaranteed. My mistake was not some grand, theatrical sin. It was quiet. It was subtle. It was the simple, daily choice to turn away from a difficult truth. The decision I delayed was one of reconciliation. An old wound, a fractured relationship with someone I loved, left to fester in silence. It was a matter of pride, of fear, of waiting for the other person to make the first move. Every day, the thought would surface. I should call them. And every day, a louder thought would answer it. Not today. It will be awkward. It will be painful. What's one more day? I became a master of justification. I built a fortress of excuses around my heart, and I believed it was keeping me safe. In reality, it was a prison, and I was both the inmate and the guard. The world encourages this kind of delay. It rewards distraction. It fills every moment of potential silence with noise, with content, with urgency about things that, in the grand scheme, do not matter. I let the urgent eclipse the important. I answered every email, met every deadline, watched every show. I did everything, except the one thing my soul was crying out for me to do. I traded the eternal for the temporary, day after day. I convinced myself that mending my soul was a task for a rainy afternoon, something to be scheduled in between errands. I did not understand that the soul is not an item on a to-do list. It is the very foundation upon which your existence is built. And I was letting my foundation crack, day by day, while I was busy polishing the windows of the house. This indifference became a habit. It was no longer a conscious choice, but an automatic reflex. The discomfort would arise, and I would instinctively reach for my phone, for the television remote, for any distraction that would numb the quiet call for resolution. I was running from the very thing that could have healed me, that could have set me free. You might be doing the same. You might be listening to this, and a part of you is already looking for a way to dismiss it, to label it as mere storytelling, to rationalize your own delay. I beg you, do not. That voice of dismissal is the same one that whispered to me, the same one that led me here, to this place of perpetual looking back. The decision you are delaying is not just about another person. It is not just about an external action. It is about you. It is about your integrity, your peace. It is about aligning who you are with who you are meant to be. Every time you postpone it, you create a small fracture within yourself, a dissonance between your heart and your actions. Over time, these small fractures widen. They become chasms. You begin to live a life that is not entirely your own. You wear a mask of everything is fine, while inside, the unresolved energy of that one decision slowly erodes your spirit. It drains your joy. It taints your relationships. It is a silent poison, and you are the one who continues to drink it each morning you wake and choose to do nothing. I lived in that state for years. A low-grade hum of anxiety and regret that became the background music of my life. I grew so accustomed to it that I no longer recognized it as something that could be changed. I accepted it as a permanent part of my reality, a scar that would never fade. But it was not a scar, it was an open wound. My life was full, from the outside. I had successes. I had laughter. I had moments of happiness. But all of it was built on that cracked foundation. None of it felt completely real, because the most real part of me, the part that knew the truth, was being ignored. It was being starved. This is the nature of the mistake. It doesn't announce itself with thunder and lightning. It creeps in with the quiet comfort of routine. The comfort of not having to face discomfort. The ease of staying the same. I chose comfort over courage again and again, until the choice was no longer mine to make. Think about the energy it takes to keep this door closed. The mental gymnastics, the careful avoidance of certain topics or people, the constant, low-level effort of suppression. It is exhausting. You may not even realize how tired you are, because you've been carrying this weight for so long. What would it feel like to finally put it down? I can tell you what lies on the other side of that door, because I can only see it from here, where I can no longer reach it. What lies there is relief. It is lightness. It is the freedom of an honest soul. It may be difficult, it may be painful for a moment, but that moment of pain is nothing compared to an eternity of knowing you could have, and you didn't. I existed in a fortress of later, and I thought its walls were strong. But a single moment of silence proved they were made of sand. In the next part, I will tell you about that silence. The moment the noise of the world stopped, and the truth finally came crashing in. Are you prepared to hear what that silence revealed? The moment of the turn did not come with a crash of thunder or a blinding light. It came in the most ordinary of settings, on a Tuesday afternoon. There was nothing special about the day. The sun was shining. The traffic was humming its usual song outside my window. I was in the middle of a perfectly normal task, something so mundane I can't even recall what it was. And then, it happened. Silence. It was not an absence of sound. The cars were still moving. The world outside had not stopped. The silence was internal. It was as if someone had suddenly turned off the constant, chattering monologue inside my head. The voice of planning, of worrying, of remembering, of distracting. All of it just ceased. And in that sudden, terrifying vacuum, there was only one thing left. The truth. In that moment of pure, unadulterated perception, I saw my life not as a series of days or events, but as a single, clear picture. And at the very center of that picture, glowing with a dark, heavy light, was the decision I had delayed. It was no longer a small, forgotten task on a list. It was a massive, gaping hole that had drained the color from everything else. I saw the other person. I saw their face not as I had chosen to remember it, in anger or in justification for my own silence, but as it truly was. I saw their pain, their confusion, their own longing for resolution, a longing I had refused to acknowledge because it would have forced me to acknowledge my own. I felt the weight of every single day I had let pass, not as a number, but as a physical burden. This was the late perception. It is the curse of seeing with perfect clarity only when you can no longer act. My pride, which had seemed like a mighty fortress, was revealed to be a flimsy, pathetic cage made of fear. My excuses, which had sounded so reasonable and logical in my own head, were exposed as the childish ramblings of a coward. The regret that followed was not a gentle sorrow. It was a fire. It was an agony that consumed everything. It was the gut-wrenching, soul-tearing knowledge that I had possessed the key to my own peace, and the peace of another, and I had simply left it on the table to rust. I had chosen a prison of silence over a moment of difficult freedom. All the reasons I had for waiting vanished. It wasn't the right time. In that silence, I knew any time would have been the right time. I didn't know what to say. In that silence, I knew the simplest words, "I'm sorry," would have been enough. I was afraid of their reaction. In that silence, I knew that any reaction would have been better than the nothing I had created. This is the nature of the place I now inhabit. It is not a place of external torture. It is a place of internal, unending clarity. I am forced to see the truth, again and again, without the comforting veil of self-deception that I wore so comfortably in life. The torment is the knowing. The hell is the perfect understanding of my own failure, with no possibility of amendment. You still live behind that veil. You have the luxury of distraction. You can turn this message off, you can scroll to something else, you can fill your ears with music and your mind with tasks. But I am telling you, a moment of silence is coming for you, as it comes for everyone. It might be in a hospital bed, or in the quiet of an empty house, or in the split second before an accident. When that silence comes, the only thing that will matter is what you have done with the truths you knew. All the noise you used to drown out the whispers of your conscience will be gone, and you will be left alone with your choices. My warning to you is this: do not wait for that forced silence. Choose it now. Voluntarily step into the quiet and face the decision you are avoiding. Because the silence of choice is a sanctuary, but the silence of consequence is a prison. In your silence, you still hold the key. You can still make the call, write the letter, speak the words. In my silence, I can only watch the locked door and remember, with perfect, burning clarity, how easy it would have been to open it. The 4 minutes left is not a countdown to the end of the world. It is a metaphor for that final, fleeting window of consciousness. That brief, lucid moment where life is over but awareness is not. It is the time the soul is given to look back at the map of its journey and see the one wrong turn from which it never recovered. For me, those 4 minutes were an eternity of understanding. Everything I had built my life upon, my career, my possessions, my reputation, turned to dust. The only thing that had any substance, any weight, was that one relationship I had allowed to break, that one act of healing I had refused to perform. Do not repeat this. Do not arrive at your final moments only to realize that you spent your entire life polishing the frame while the masterpiece of your soul was left to rot. The small, nagging thing is the big thing. It is the only thing. The uncomfortable truth you are avoiding is the very gatekeeper to your peace. I understand the fear. I lived it. But I am telling you from this side of existence that the fear of a difficult conversation is a shadow. The regret of a life left unresolved is a mountain. You are choosing to carry the mountain to avoid stepping over the shadow. Now you understand the moment of the turn, the devastating clarity of regret. But regret is only the awareness of the mistake. The true consequence is the state it leaves you in, the reality it creates for your soul. In the next part, I will describe this reality. I will tell you what it truly means to be a soul from this place, a place built not of fire, but of endless, echoing if-onlys. Are you ready to understand the architecture of eternal regret? The place I speak from is not what you imagine. There are no pitchforks, no cauldrons of fire. Human imagination, in its attempt to grasp the eternal, often defaults to the physical. But the true state of suffering is not physical. It is a state of the soul. It is an internal reality, far more terrifying than any landscape of flames. My reality now is a single, repeating loop. It is the memory of my life, but with one crucial difference. I now see every missed opportunity, every moment I could have chosen differently, with perfect, agonizing clarity. I am not just remembering, I am reliving. I relive the moment the phone rang and I let it go to voicemail. I relive the moment I saw them across the street and turned the other way. I relive the conversations in my own head, the endless justifications and rationalizations I constructed. And with each repetition, I feel the full weight of my error. The lie is stripped away, and only the raw, pathetic fear remains. It is like watching a film of your life where you are the only one who can see the fatal flaw in the script, and you are screaming at the character on the screen, yourself, to change course, but he cannot hear you. This is the architecture of regret. It is a prison built from the ghosts of what could have been. I see the timeline where I made the call. I see the reconciliation. I see the weight lifting not only from my shoulders, but from theirs. I see the peace that would have rippled out from that single act of courage. I see the joy, the healing, the restored love. And I see that this better reality was not locked away behind some impossible barrier. It was right there, separated from me by nothing more than a few words, a moment of humility. The door was unlocked. All I had to do was turn the handle. The agony of this place is knowing, with every fiber of my being, that I built my own prison and handed the key to my own pride. You still have time. You are still living in the world of cause and effect. Your actions still have consequences that can change the future. My world is one of effect without cause. I am trapped in the result, with no power to alter the equation. Do you understand what a gift that is? The simple ability to choose, to act. It is the greatest power in the universe, and you treat it so casually. You waste it on trivialities. You spend this divine power on arguing with strangers online, on worrying about opinions that do not matter, on accumulating things that will turn to dust. And the one area where your power to choose could bring about profound, soul-altering healing, you let it lie dormant. You treat it like a burden. Do not make this mistake. The decision you keep delaying is a sacred opportunity. It is the universe presenting you with a chance to actively shape your soul. It is a spiritual test, disguised as an awkward human interaction. And you keep failing it, day after day, telling yourself you will study for it tomorrow. But the exam is now. It is always now. This place is also a place of profound loneliness. But it is not the loneliness of solitude. It is the loneliness of disconnection. In life, I could hide my inner turmoil behind a smile. I could pretend everything was fine. Here, there are no masks. My soul is laid bare, and its central feature is the void left by that broken connection, that unresolved relationship. I feel the presence of the one I wronged. Not as a companion, but as a constant, aching absence. It is a phantom limb of the soul. I can feel where the connection was supposed to be, a space that should be filled with peace and love, but is now just a hollow echo, a reminder of my failure to mend what was broken. You who are listening, you have people in your life. You can still reach out a hand and feel another hand take it. You can speak a word and have it be heard. You can offer a gesture of peace and have it be received. I would trade an eternity for one more chance to do that. One more chance to say, I was wrong. Please forgive me. You think the consequences of your inaction are limited to your own life. You are mistaken. Your refusal to act, your decision to delay, creates ripples you cannot see. It affects the person you are avoiding. It perpetuates a cycle of pain. Your silence might be interpreted as anger, as indifference, as a judgment. You are allowing a wound to remain open in them, as well as in yourself. By choosing inaction, you are not choosing peace. You are choosing to sustain a state of quiet conflict. You are an active participant in the continuation of pain. You think that by not touching the wound, you are not making it worse. But wounds that are not cleaned and closed do not heal. They fester. And you are letting it fester, in your soul and in theirs. This is a direct warning to you. The path I am on is paved with the stones of, I'll do it later. It is a wide, comfortable, and well-traveled road. It is so easy to walk. But its destination is this place of perfect, powerless clarity. The path of action, of facing the discomfort, is narrow. It is uphill. It can seem daunting. But I can see the view from the top of that hill, and it is a vista of peace so profound it would make you weep with joy. I am telling you, the climb is worth it. The momentary discomfort is an infinitesimal price to pay for the freedom that awaits. Do not repeat my mistake. Do not become another voice in this chorus of regret. Your life is a precious, fleeting opportunity to get it right. To heal what is broken. To speak the truth. to choose love over pride. This is not about being a perfect person. I was a good person by most worldly standards. I was kind to strangers. I was honest in my business. But the universe does not judge you on a curve. It judges you on your courage to face the tasks set before your own soul. And my most important task was the one I left undone. Now you understand the nature of this place, built from the echoes of if only. It is a passive state of being, a prison of memory. But what if you act? What happens when you make the choice you've been delaying? In the next part, I will paint a picture of the other path, the one I can only see but you can still walk. What does it feel like to choose courage? What is the immediate reward for that one difficult step? Imagine for a moment that you do it. Right now, after hearing this, you close your eyes, take a deep breath, and you make the decision. You pick up the phone. You start writing the email. You walk across the room. You form the words in your mind, the ones you have been rehearsing and running from for so long. I'm sorry. I forgive you. We need to talk. I was wrong. What is the first thing that happens? It is not the reaction of the other person. That is secondary. The first thing that happens is a shift inside of you. A fundamental change in the very fabric of your being. It is the feeling of a 1,000-pound weight being lifted from your soul, a weight you had grown so accustomed to, you had forgotten you were even carrying it. This is the immediate reward. It is a sudden, breathtaking lightness. It is the cessation of the internal war you have been waging against yourself. The part of you that knew the truth and the part of you that was suppressing it are no longer in conflict. For the first time in a long time, your soul is in alignment. There is a profound, resonant peace, a feeling of coming home to yourself. This peace is not dependent on the outcome. It is not contingent on whether the other person accepts your apology or grants you forgiveness. That is their journey. This peace comes from the simple, powerful act of you doing your part, of you taking responsibility for your own integrity. You have cleaned your side of the street. You have spoken your truth. You are no longer a prisoner of your own silence. From my vantage point, I can see the energy of this choice. It is like a flash of pure, white light emanating from your soul. It instantly dissolves the gray, stagnant clouds of resentment, fear, and pride that have been hovering over you. This single act of courage does more for your spiritual well-being than 1,000 prayers offered from a conflicted heart. Because this act is a prayer in motion. It is faith made manifest. It is the ultimate statement to the universe that you choose healing over hurt, connection over separation, and courage over comfort. This is the work your soul came here to do. Not to be successful, not to be right, but to be whole. And wholeness is only found in the mending of what is broken. Think of the mental energy you will reclaim. The space in your mind that has been occupied by this unresolved issue, constantly running scenarios, replaying old arguments, anticipating future confrontations, it is suddenly empty. It is free. This newfound mental real estate can now be used for creativity, for joy, for presence. You will be more present with your loved ones, more focused in your work, more open to the beauty of the world around you. You have been living life with a background app constantly running, draining your battery, slowing down your processing power. Making this one decision is like closing that app for good. The difference in your performance, in your very experience of life, will be immediate and staggering. You will feel lighter not just spiritually, but physically. The fear you have about the confrontation is almost always worse than the reality. You are playing a horror movie in your mind, but the reality is usually a quiet drama at worst, and a heartfelt reconciliation at best. But even if the reaction is negative, even if the other person is not ready to meet you where you are, you have still won your freedom. You are no longer defined by your inaction. You have stepped out of the passive role of waiting and into the active role of a creator. You have created a new possibility. You have opened a door that was locked. Whether they choose to walk through it is up to them, but you are no longer standing guard outside, pretending it doesn't exist. This act of courage will also ripple outwards. When you choose to heal a part of your life, it inspires others. Your children see it. Your friends feel it. You become a quiet testament to the power of humility and the importance of reconciliation. You are not just mending a single relationship. You are casting a stone of peace into the pond of humanity, and its ripples will touch shores you will never see. Contrast this with the path of delay. Every day you wait, the weight gets heavier. The internal conflict grows louder. The mental energy drain increases. The spiritual stagnation deepens. The lie you are living becomes more integrated into your identity. You are actively choosing a state of dis-ease, of fragmentation, of quiet suffering, all to avoid a few moments of potential discomfort. From here, I see the two paths so clearly. They branch off from this exact moment in your life. One path, the one you are on, seems flat and easy, but it slowly descends into a gray, misty valley of regret. The other path, the one of an immediate decision, starts with a short, steep climb, but it quickly opens up onto a sunlit plateau of peace and clarity. You are standing at the fork in the road right now. This message is the signpost. You can read it, nod, and continue down the easy, descending path. Or you can heed the warning, summon your courage, and begin the climb. The choice is entirely yours. But know that the landscape of your entire future and your eternity is shaped by what you do next. Do not tell yourself you are not ready. You will never feel perfectly ready. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. Do not tell yourself you need a perfect plan or the perfect words. Your heart already knows what to say. Authenticity and humility are all that is required. The simple, unadorned truth is always enough. This is the tangible, immediate outcome of your choice. It is not some abstract, future reward in a distant heaven. It is a present-day reality. It is more peace, more energy, more presence, more integrity, right here, right now. It is the gift you give yourself, the moment you decide to stop waiting. You have been warned about the consequences of delay and shown the reward of immediate action. The choice seems obvious, yet pride and fear are powerful forces. In the next part, I will give you a final, direct plea. I will speak to the part of you that is still hesitating, the part that is already building new excuses. I will try to dismantle those final walls before your time runs out. What is the last lie you are telling yourself to justify your delay? I can hear the arguments forming in your mind. I know them well, for they were once my own. It's too complicated. It's been too long. They won't understand. They were the one who was wrong, not me. Let us take these final excuses, these last lines of defense for your inaction, and hold them up to the light. It's too complicated. Is it really? Or have you made it complicated to justify your avoidance? Relationships are complex, yes, but the root of their healing is always simple. It is about taking responsibility for your part. Not the whole story, not their part, just yours. A single, honest sentence, I regret my role in what happened between us. That is not complicated. It is simple, powerful, and true. The complexity is a story you tell yourself. It's been too long. So much time has passed. Time is an illusion in matters of the soul. A wound that is 20 years old can be healed in a single moment of genuine connection. In fact, the passage of time can make the gesture even more powerful. It says, "Even after all these years, you matter to me. Our connection matters to me. Finding peace with you matters to me." Do not let the calendar be your excuse. An act of love is timeless. They won't understand. They'll just get angry. You are trying to control the outcome. You are making your decision to act dependent on their reaction. This is the flaw. Your task is not to manage their feelings. Your task is to manage your own integrity. You must act for your own soul's sake, because it is the right thing to do. Release your attachment to their response. Offer the peace and let it be. Their reaction is their responsibility, not yours. Your responsibility is to make the offer. And now, the most powerful excuse of all. The one that feels like a shield of righteousness. But they were the one who was wrong. Perhaps they did. Perhaps they were 99% at fault. I am not asking you to absolve them or to say that what they did was right. I am asking you to take responsibility for your 1%. Your silence. Your resentment. Your part in the continued disconnection. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to them. It is the key you use to unlock your own prison. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You are the only one being harmed by your refusal to let go. You are chaining yourself to the past, to a person who may not even be thinking of you. Your healing is not dependent on their apology. Your freedom is in your own hands. You are waiting for a feeling to motivate you into action. You are waiting to feel like it. You will be waiting for the rest of your life. Action does not follow feeling. Feeling follows action. You must choose to act first, and the feelings of peace and relief will follow. Do not be a slave to your fleeting emotions. Be the master of your soul's destiny. Make the choice based on principle, not on mood. This is my final plea. I am a voice from your potential future. A future you can still avoid. I am the ghost of your own regret, visiting you in the present with a chance to rewrite the story. Every word I have spoken is a reflection of a truth you already know, deep within the silent chambers of your own heart. You have felt it for years. The decision you are delaying is a splinter in your soul. You can ignore it. You can try to live with the low-grade inflammation it causes. But it will never truly heal until you have the courage to pull it out. Yes, it will hurt for a moment. But the relief that follows is the beginning of true health. The beginning of wholeness. Do not let my fate be your own. Do not arrive at the end of your days and have your entire life story eclipsed by the shadow of one thing left undone. It is a tragedy of the highest order, because it is so easily preventable. The cure is not difficult, it is just humbling. It requires you to be vulnerable for a moment. It requires you to put your pride aside. Is your pride really worth this much? Is the comfort of being right worth the price of your peace? Is the fear of an awkward 5-minute conversation worth a lifetime of internal conflict and an eternity of regret? Look at the scales. Weigh the cost. The choice is clear. You have the time. You have the breath in your lungs. You have the ability to speak, to write, to act. You possess all the tools you need. I have none of them. My only tool is this voice, this warning sent across the veil, in the hopes that at least one person will hear it and choose differently. Let that one person be you. The clock is still ticking. But for you, the 4 minutes have not yet begun. Your entire life is still ahead of you, a field of infinite possibility. But that field can only be truly fertile if you first remove the stones. This decision you are delaying is the biggest stone in your field. Remove it. Do it now. You've heard my story, my regret, and my plea. The path of action and the path of inaction are clear. All that remains is a final reflection, a moment to bring this warning into the center of your own life. In the final part, we will move from my story to yours. We will seal this message not with a condemnation, but with a question of personal responsibility. What will you do with the time you have left? This is not a story meant to scare you into a specific belief about the afterlife. The reality of where I speak from is not the point. Whether you see it as a literal place or a symbolic state of being is irrelevant. The truth of this message lies not in its origin, but in its reflection of your own life, right here and now. This story is a mirror. What do you see? Do you see a reflection of your own justifications? Do you hear echoes of your own excuses in my words? The purpose of this testimony is not to condemn, but to awaken. It is a bell, rung from a distant shore, to wake you from the slumber of your daily routine, from the hypnosis of someday. The responsibility is now yours. You have heard the warning. You can no longer claim ignorance. To continue in your delay is no longer a passive act of neglect, it is now an active choice. You are knowingly choosing the path of regret. You are consciously deciding to add another stone to the weight you carry. Do not focus on my fate. Focus on your freedom. My story is over. It is written in the indelible ink of poor choices. But your story is still being written. The pen is in your hand. This very moment is a fresh, clean page. What will you write on it? Will it be another chapter of avoidance? Or will it be the turning point, the moment where the protagonist finally decides to face their deepest challenge? This is not about being a saint. It is about being a whole human being. It is about having the courage to clean up your own messes, to mend the tears in your own tapestry. It is the fundamental work of a conscious life. To leave the world, and your own soul, a little more whole than you found it. The people in your life are not permanent fixtures. Their presence is a gift, a temporary opportunity for connection, for healing, for love. Every day you delay, you are gambling with that gift. You are assuming the board will look the same tomorrow as it does today. I am the proof that one day, the game simply ends, and you are left with the pieces exactly where they were. Do not leave your most important business unfinished. Treat this decision with the urgency it deserves. Not a frantic, panicked urgency, but a deep, solemn, and immediate sense of purpose. This is your sacred duty to yourself and to the people you are connected with. Imagine the end of your life. Imagine that final, quiet moment of reflection. What is the one thing you do not want to regret? What memory do you want to look back on with peace, knowing you did the right thing, no matter how hard it was? Hold that feeling of peace in your mind. That is your destination. And the path to it begins with this one, delayed decision. I have given you the warning. I have shown you the consequences and the rewards. The rest is silence. The next voice that needs to speak is yours. A voice that has perhaps been silent for too long. A voice that needs to say, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. Let's make this right. Let my story of eternal regret be the catalyst for your moment of profound peace. Let my endless, if only, become your triumphant, I did. Do not walk the path I walked. Choose the harder path today, so you can walk in lightness for all of your tomorrows. The choice is yours. The time is now. What this message made you reflect on is a deeply personal discovery. It is the beginning of a conversation not with me, but with yourself. The decision is yours, the responsibility is yours, and the freedom that comes from it will be yours alone. Do not let this moment of clarity fade. Act on it. Your life is a precious, unrepeatable miracle. Do not waste a single day of it carrying a burden you have the power to set down. Your soul is calling for resolution. Listen to it. Honor it. And finally, answer it. Now that the weight of my message has settled, the question shifts from my past to your present. This is no longer my story, it has become a crossroad in yours. The final part is the bridge back to your world, to the action you can take right now. It is about sealing the intention and joining a community of others who are also choosing to act. What will you do with this warning? And who will you share it with? The story is told. The warning has been delivered. But this was never about me. It was never about a voice from a distant, shadowy place. It was always about the echo that voice creates inside of you. It was about stirring that part of your own soul that knows the truth, the part that has been quietly urging you to act. My story is merely the amplifier for the whisper that has been in your heart all along. You are standing at the threshold. Behind you is the long, familiar road of delay, paved with good intentions and quiet justifications. Ahead of you is a door. It is not locked. It is simply heavy with the perceived weight of a difficult conversation, a moment of vulnerability. My entire testimony, every word of regret, was for this single purpose, to give you the strength to push that door open. Because on the other side of it is not the catastrophe you imagine. On the other side is lightness. On the other side is integrity. On the other side is peace. The peace of a soul in alignment with itself. The peace of a life lived without the constant, draining hum of unresolved business. This is your moment. The clock is ticking, not with the threat of damnation, but with the promise of liberation. What will you choose? To hear a warning is one thing. To act on it is what changes your destiny. To help you bridge that gap between awareness and action, here is a practical guide. Turning signs into action. Your practical guide. In the next 24 hours. The silence audit. Sometime today or tonight, find 15 minutes of absolute, uninterrupted silence. Turn off your phone, your computer, the television. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Ask your soul this one question: what is the one truth I am avoiding? Do not search for an answer. Simply create the space for it to arise. When it surfaces, and it will, do not judge it or plan around it. Just acknowledge its presence. Look at it clearly for the first time. This is the act of ending denial. The draft of courage. Take out a piece of paper or open a blank document. Write down the conversation you need to have or the apology you need to make. Do not censor yourself. Write the clumsy words, the fearful words, the angry words, the sorry words. This is a first draft for your eyes only. The purpose is not to create a perfect script, but to transfer the weight of the issue from the abstract chaos of your mind to the concrete reality of the page. This makes it manageable. It makes it real. In the next 7 days. The courage commitment. Look at your calendar for the coming week. Choose a specific day and a specific time when you will take action. It could be Wednesday at 7 p.m., I will make the call, or Saturday morning, I will write and send the email. Mark this in your calendar as a non-negotiable appointment, as important as any doctor's visit or work meeting. This act of scheduling transforms a vague intention into a concrete commitment. The humility meditation. Each morning for the next 7 days, take 60 seconds before you start your day. Close your eyes and silently speak these words, or words that feel true to you. Today, I choose courage over comfort. I release the need to be right, and I embrace the desire to be whole. Grant me the humility to act with love, and the grace to accept the outcome without attachment. This practice primes your heart and mind, replacing fear with resolve. In the next 30 days. The integration journal. After you have taken your action, within a day or two, spend some time writing about the experience. How did you feel before? What was the fear? How did the actual event unfold? And most importantly, how do you feel now? Describe the sense of relief, the lightness. This act of reflection solidifies the lesson in your soul, reminding you that the fear of the action was far worse than the action itself. This journal entry will be a testament to your own courage that you can return to in the future. The ripple effect practice. Now that you have dealt with a big stone, look for a smaller one. Over the next month, identify one small, nagging thing you have been putting off. It could be a difficult email to a colleague, a promise you made to a neighbor, or a small debt you need to repay. Apply the same principle of immediate, courageous action. By practicing on smaller things, you turn this lesson from a one-time event into a lifelong habit of integrity and spiritual cleanliness. Your eternity is not decided at the end of your life, but in the courage of this moment. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future warning messages. Comment what this message made you reflect on and tell us which city you are watching from. Share this video with someone who may need this reminder.